Good evening, Scott. There have been some major changes to retirement accounts based on the CARES Act, and there are a couple to keep in mind. One impacts retirees by waiving required minimum distributions or RMDs for this year. Now, typically, when you're in your 70s, you're required to take a certain amount out of your 401k or your IRA as an RMD every year. Now you get a break. You don't have to take that money out until 2021. The other provisions deal with 401k loans and withdrawals, raising the loan limit and actually making distributions penalty free. But these 401k changes aren't automatic. It is up to your employer to put these changes into practice. If you want to take out a 401k loan, you can now borrow up to $100,000 or 100% of the balance, whatever is less there. And the previous loan amount was $50,000, and you can defer payments for up to 1 year. But you have to keep in mind here that many plans will let you pay back the loan within 5 years. But if you lose your job, that money is going to have to be paid back a lot faster. Another new provision, and the more popular option for tapping your 401k so far, according to those in the industry, would let you take a distribution up to $100,000 or 100% of your balance, whichever is less, from your IRA or your 401k. Now, you don't have to pay the typical 10% early withdrawal penalty if you're under 59 and a half, and you'll get 3 years to pay taxes on this money. And if you pay that money, you won't have to pay taxes on it at all. But in order to make this penalty-free withdrawal, you or your spouse or partner has to have been diagnosed with COVID-19, or you personally have to show financial hardship by reduced hours, having been furloughed or laid off. And that, some in the industry say, is a caveat that many don't realize, and it's making it more difficult for some families that are facing financial hardship to qualify.
Sharon, we appreciate that. Josh, you want to pick it up?
I want to go to Lazetta. Yeah, I want to go to Lazetta on this. So we've done such a good job. I mean, we could always do better. But in this society, we've done such a good job at hammering the idea of saving into people's heads. But every once in a while, there is an emergency. And I think this would qualify for millions of people right now. How do you counsel people who come to you and say, look, I just need money right now. I understand there are taxes. I understand there are penalties. What's the least dumb thing I could do to access some of my savings so that I can get through this period? How do you help people with that question?
First of all, I want them to be clear about how much it takes to run their household, just like a business. So if you say it takes me, let's say, $5,000 a month to live comfortably, you may be in a situation where you're losing your job. So at least we can quantify how much cash flow you need to come in. And then we can look at how much you need to take out if you have to go the route of the loan. You know, considering the loans, you are both the lender and the borrower. So the nice thing is that you're paying yourself back based on the terms given by your employer. So be sure that you know exactly when you're taking this loan out from yourself, what interest rate you're paying your account back. In essence, that's your return. So while we would love to see that money continue to grow and get that compounded interest, like you said, these are circumstances for which people need cash flow. Maybe they didn't have the 6 months of expenses, 3 to 6 months. Maybe their job loss and trying to get back into the market is harder than what they expected. We just want to minimize the exposure or minimize the amount of money that has to be taken out in a very prudent way by just knowing what's needed and then knowing that this is a resource that's available for which you're paying yourself back.
That's really great advice. So you're not saying let's come up with the number and then figure out how to spend it. You're saying, what do I really need? And then let's figure out where we can get it from at the least possible cost. One aspect of this, Carolyn, in the 30 seconds or so we have left, you will be paying taxes on this distribution right, at your ordinary income rate. So that's a really important consideration, right?
Right, that is. And realize, though, you could spread that out over 3 years. You have the choice to pay it all in 1 year or spread it over 3. So you have to look at what your future income is going to be versus is it better to be taxed on it all right now?